Welcome to Bleav in 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash.
It's crunch time on the court, and the NBA playoffs are your chance to score big. Whether you're riding with favorites or cheering on the underdog, every three-pointer, dunk, buzzer beater is an opportunity to win at MyBookie. Place your bets live as the action unfolds. Feeling confident? Lock in your winnings early with our quick cash out option. Never miss a chance to turn your basketball insights into real cash. New to MyBookie? Well, sign up today with our promo code MM50 and instantly boost your first deposit. Deposit $50 and MyBookie tosses in an extra 25 smackaroos. Deposit $100 and get a $50 bonus. More action, more excitement, and more chances to win during basketball's most intense playoff season. Plus, when the game wraps up, keep the winning streak alive at MyBookie's casino, slots, blackjack, roulette, and more. The thrills never stop. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav in 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with my brother Teja Dash. Eric has the week off. We'll see Eric next week to kind of break down everything that is going on with the 76ers. And of course, with this really exciting offseason already kicking off at the number 3 pick, you know, at first it was like, oh, we're going to get the pick. Well, we'll get into that. But Teja, how are you doing, man? NBA playoffs have been here. I know we're not in it this year for the first time in a while, but pretty exciting playoffs so far.
It's been surprising, too. I mean, all the stuff that's happened, a lot has happened for this season and beyond. I mean, look at those Celtics, man. They might have might blow it up. They might be a bad team next year. You can make a case for the Celtics being a bad borderline playoff team next year. I mean, they're supposed to get rid of Holiday. They're supposed to get rid of Porzingis. And Tatum's a late season Achilles injury. He's not coming back for a while. So who knows what their starting five is going to look like next year? Pritchard might be there like their number 2 scorer next year.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I will say, based on the Celtics, I mean, I do feel for Jason Tatum. I got to say, Drew Hanlon, both of his star clients between Embiid and Tatum. Now you got 2 of those guys who are hurt. That's really, really unfortunate for Jason Tatum.
And the East is, I mean, I know
wide open.
Pacers are emerging, but I don't think anyone's looking, even if the Pacers go to the championship, even if they win it, no one's going next season thinking the Pacers are a world beater by any means. They just got hot at the right time, which is very interesting because it usually doesn't happen in the NBA. It's usually like an NFL or like a NCAA tournament thing. You don't usually see a team just get hot and go all the way in the NBA. But the East with Bucks probably blowing it up and going for the future Celtics are going what they're going through. The 2 top picks, which we'll get to in a second, are Western Conference teams. It's pretty open. It's pretty open for business. Yeah.
Yeah, the one knocks with the Indiana is the fact that they played with 2 teams that kind of were injury prone throughout the entire playoffs, kind of like last year. But I mean, you play who's in front of you. I will say, Celtics, I do think they have a shot to at least win tonight to make this game go to Game 6.
Yeah,
Celtics were 8-2 without Jason Tatum during the season, so they do have a good team outside of Tatum. So that's the one thing they do have going for them.
I mean, everyone's got but the other guys who are supposed to step up haven't looked good even in limited action. So we'll see.
Yeah, and they've had a lot of injuries as well, but nonetheless, been a pretty good playoffs overall to watch, even though our team is not in it. But on the other side of things, our Sixers, while not in the playoffs, we're in the action, baby. We are in it. We are in it. So this week, obviously, the NBA draft lottery happened. We've been waiting a while for that. And Sixers we just wanted to keep the pick. And then it went from keeping the pick, although Kevin Nagandi did try to give us all a heart attack with saying the Sixers, the Sixers are out. They're not getting their pick. Like, well, what? And Daryl Morey talked about how he didn't hear that and he wasn't concerned by it at all. But Nick Nurse and Elton Brand kind of got confused and were scared by it. They looked at Morey. Morey's like, now we're good. But yeah, so Sixers keep the pick. Not 5, not 6, not 4. We get into the top 3, and of course, the Adam Silver and NBA did what they did, and you could say shady, you could say it's not, but Dallas Mavericks get the 1 pick, Spurs get number 2, and then the Sixers get number 3. I don't think anybody should be complaining. I've seen a lot of Sixers fans who are complaining about that, which is crazy because we went from almost not having the pick to getting the top 3 pick. So everyone should be rejoicing, and most people are. But I've seen a lot of Sixers fans, of course, skeptics, who are upset that we didn't get number 1. which is whatever. But number 3, awesome. What was your thoughts on how kind of the lottery went down? We'll get into the specifics, the nitty gritty in a little bit, but what was your overall take from that
Just
night?
in general. So initially my guess was going to be like we get 5. That's what I thought we would get. And then once we got past the commercial break, that was like it hitting the save zone, like Sonic, or the check-in point where you can okay, even if I die, I'll end up here. My guess was 3. I was talking to you on the phone. I was like, we're going to get 3 because it's so classic. It's such a Sixers fan situation to be in. Like, oh, let's be happy about getting the pick, but also complain about not being top 2. It's just so just torture yourself. Like, oh, you have a really good team. You can get far enough this season. So I think I saw the other day, it was like what, a 0.018, 0.06, 0.105, and 0.14 for the top 4 picks. It goes to like a 0.001% chance of happening the way it did. It's crazy. Like the odds of this top 4 happening is like lottery. I mean, like lottery chances for you. I mean, even worse for you to win. All in all, I don't want to be greedy. I could say, greedy, and I wanted 2, but considering how bad last night or the other night could have gone, it could have gone really bad. I mean, we could have canceled the show, okay, based on what happened that night, because we would just be on here bitching the entire time about like how bad it is and how bad unlucky it is to be a Sixer fan. But we should be extremely happy we got 3. We have a really talented team. Let's just get beyond the injuries. And the cool thing about 3 is I don't want to say, we'll be fine if certain guys don't come back to the way they should be. But if they don't, like, this is a great alternative plan. Like, you usually have to pick one or the other. You have to say we're going all in with the guys we have now who are in their late 20s, early 30s, and screw the future. Or you say, screw now, I want the future. We had kind of like a hold off here, right? So we're kind of doing both, and not many teams get to say they're doing that, right? It's funny, though. The top 3 teams all get to say they're doing that. Like, Spurs are a win-now team. They're young, but they have a rising superstar. They have a vet point guard, and they have a vet shooting guard and the rookie of the year. So they're pretty much like slated to win now. Dallas, 2 high-paid vets on their team. Pretty much a team of vets, if you look at that team.
The Kyrie situation, he might not. I don't know how much he's going to miss next year. Man, the ACL injury. I mean,
no, but just overall, that team is built. If you look at their roster, beyond what pick they have, they're built to win right now. Like that's what he was intending to do. I want to win right now. And on top of that, they have one of the best win future guys in the draft. So one of the best in a long time. So it's interesting that's why I think NBA fans are pissed off, because like you have 3 teams who are, built to win today and get tomorrow picks, right?
Yeah, and then that's why it's like when I saw Sixers fans complaining that we got number 3, not 1 or 2, it's like, okay, well, imagine being a Wizards, Pelicans, any of these other teams. Terrible. Like awful. I mean, the Nets. I mean that everyone's talking about how Nick Claxton's layup putback to win the game against us. Remember, you and I watched that game in the car. Nick Claxton's putback against the Sixers. How that was pretty much a change there, and
that was huge.
They're picking number 8 right now. We're picking number 3. So like,
it's a huge difference.
It could be a lot worse. And like the fact that like we're not all ecstatic about this is like, come on, guys. Let's I get there's a lot of things to be upset about. The season's over, right? That the unlucky streak. I'll say the lottery that ended the unlucky streak for us. We finally got some luck. A year of just like injury after injury after injury. Potential rookie of the year injury. I mean, everything went wrong this year, and this could be the steps to going right. I know a lot of people want to be mad that we have Morey still, Nick Nurse still, and B still on the team. There's a lot of people who are mad about a lot of different things, but like, guys, forget about all of that. Stick to this one thing. You got the number 3 pick, and kind of what you said. It's not every team. Usually, the teams in the top 3 don't usually, especially lottery teams in general, don't usually have 3 max players on a team. We have 3 max players, a guy who was the front runner for the rookie of the year last year before getting hurt, and then you have a top 3 pick on top of that. We are in pretty damn good shape And I know a lot rides on Embiid's injury, but like you said, it's not all that now because now you get this number 3 pick, and you have Max, who's young, 23-year-old dude, and you have McCain, who's young, looked great this past year, and then you have this number 3 pick. So let's say the Embiid and Paul George thing doesn't work out the next few years. Well, you got the next window, and that next window is on our team with Max and McCain and whoever this number 3 pick is. So there's 2 windows on this team, and you got to love that. There's while we have this Embiid window right now, we don't know what's going to happen with that, but there actually is a future on this team as well. And there's not like, oh, we need to sell the house and rebuild. Well, that rebuilding, if you do want to do that, it's already on the team. So there's really not much of a rebuild. You already have those pieces on the team, which I think is pretty interesting.
And with how bad we were last year, we got to see guys develop a little more that we wouldn't have seen if we were a contending team all year. Like Justin Edwards, we wouldn't have seen. We would if we were like a fully healthy team, we wouldn't have never gotten to see that glimpse. Bona, we know, can play. It's not all speculative anymore. We know he can play in the league. Grimes showed that when all guys are not playing, he can step up and score 25, 35 points in a game. Like, that's a huge thing to know. So we did find out things that we just wouldn't have seen otherwise. And now we have a collection of like young guys, if you include that, and the 35 picks, no slouch either, especially in a good draft like this. So yeah, we have a pretty promising future.
100%. I mean, every Sixers fan should be happy, rejoicing at what happened this week. Big week. I mean, if you looked at any like CBS Sports, Yahoo Sports, all of them who did the winners of Monday night, every article I read had the Sixers as the winners, one of the winners. Obviously, Dallas is the winner, but then the Sixers were also a winner too, just because the fact that they went from not having a pick potentially to having a top 3 pick. So again, huge. All right, so now let's get into the nitty-gritty of things. So Sixers, obviously have the number 3 pick. Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse have talked about this, and we're going to get to a few different topics here in this segment. But let's just talk with what Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse have to say, the 2 decision makers in Philadelphia, what they are talking about after getting this pick. This is Daryl Morey this week on Philly radio and Nick Nurse on Philly radio.
We feel very comfortable about the player who'll be there. Really excited, and it was definitely a celebration day and a high drama day that all Philly fans and everyone in the front office and coaching staff went through.
You said you're pretty confident about who you like at 3, the player that you're going to be able to get. That would lend itself to believe that you are going to take a player at 3. Is that the scenario that you guys are rolling with?
Yeah, that's the plan. I think to get a high upside player that we also think can contribute right away is a big deal, and we feel like 3 is a great spot to be. We're going to go with the best player there, which is why we're excited about how good the top of the draft is, and then we'll have to work around who we draft in free agency, but. If you look at the history of the league, the mistakes are made when you don't just take the best player there and then work around it.
Now, we don't know who the player is that you're selecting at 3, but I will ask you, if it's one of the guards that are available in this NBA draft, how much do you take into account maybe the abundance of guards that you already have, or is that something that you ignore because you just want the best player available?
Yeah, we won't take that into account. Yeah, if the best player is a guard, we'll take a guard there.
They all know who's going number 1, and then we only got one team that can pick one of the 2 other guys that we want. So if we have a couple, we're in good shape, I think. So that being said, I just want most talent. Want somebody that competes to win. Toughness, work. Somebody understands that this is a grind and a job, and you got a lot of time to get better and a lot of time in the gym and a good teammate, man. We want somebody that wants to compete to win and be part of a great organization.
So obviously, Daryl Morey says they're going to keep the pick, even though he said that everything was on the table after if we don't get number 1. But he says he's going to keep the pick. And then Nick Nurse goes on to say that they're going to go with one of the top 3 guys, really. So if Spurs don't pick Harper, the Sixers will take Harper. And if Harper is taken, they're going to take Ace Bailey. So pretty much it seems like that is the strategy, and that's quite frankly the strategy that should be I think, because I think those are the top 3 guys in this draft class. I think those have been the top 3 guys all year. I know people want to overthink things, but the first thing I want to get to, obviously, Teja. Well, actually, what do you make about what Nurse and Morey said?
I mean, I'm not surprised by anything they said. I figured they would say that. Even if they were planning on trading it, they would say exactly what they said. I do think it's a 4-player draft, though. I don't think. I think a lot of guys have VJ ranked neck and neck with Ace, so I don't think it's crazy to know that, to think that it could be him, or maybe throughout this draft process, VJ could go above him. So I think it's a 4-player draft. So, but yeah, I think you're in great position at 3.
So you bring up VJ Edgecombe. So let's talk about the first debate there. So Ace Bailey versus VJ Edgecombe. Ace Bailey from Rutgers University and VJ Edgecombe from Baylor University. Obviously, 2 different types of guys. You have Ace Bailey, who was listed at 6'10" all year, but he's actually 6'8", with shoes on. So 6'9.5". Really, people are making a big deal about his height. Okay, he's a
6'7.5".
6'7.5", but with shoes on, I think he's 6'9".
Yeah.
So okay, we play basketball with shoes on.
He's also 18, by the way. So
yeah, there's still time for
he's got 3 more years of growth to technically have. I mean, most of your years are done, but you're still growing at 18. I've heard a lot of stories about guys growing from their, freshman year. It's pretty senior. There's a lot of seniors in high school that are 18 years old. So you can grow another inch and be 6'10" with shoes by the time the season starts, or by a second year.
Yeah, and so Ace Bailey, obviously, he's a 3 or 4, a guy that we've been wanting to have on this team for a long time. His profile as a guy that we all Sixer fans have wanted for a long time. Yeah. Now that he's in our lap, you have everyone making the argument. So no, he sucks. He's he's not going to be PG. He's not going to be KD. It's well, those are high floor of what the high ceilings of what these guys can be. 18 years old. We don't know what this guy's going to be, right? Donovan Mitchell went pick number 10. No one knew he's going to be dropping 50 points in playoffs games. No one knew that. Look, Jared McCain went pick 16 or 17 to us last year. No one knew he was going to be doing that. Harris Maxey, another one. And then on the other end, you have VJ Edgecombe, athletic phenom, guys, a defensive dynamo. He's an athletic freak. Guy can jump out the gym, shot, kind of be consistent. He's got a pretty looking shot, I will say. The release looks like an Anthony Edwards kind of release. I'm not saying he is Anthony Edwards. I'm saying his shot and release looks like that. So there's promising things there. And obviously you got the defensive combination that you can have next to some of our offensive guys that we have on this team. But Teja, when it comes to Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, there is a lot of one side or the other on this debate among Sixers Nation. Where do you stand, Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe?
First, I want to say that the only team not having a similar discussion to what we're having with VJ and Ace are the Mavericks. Their decision's pretty easy unless they want to try to trade in and get another, all-star. Everyone else is having a similar debate. I even looked up, I love looking up other Twitter feeds of other teams. I was deep diving the Spurs. They're torn on Harper or Ace. A lot of fans in the Spurs world want Ace because he fits their team better. Right. And then the ultimate, why they asked Morey that question, because it is important. Do you want team fit or do you just want best player? So you don't know what's going to happen. Spurs could also have that edge of trading the pick away. So there's that whole part of it. As a prospect, see, that's the weird thing about pick 3. It's there's a tier of flag. And then everyone has Harper as a second tier. And then the third tier is 2 players. So that's what makes our pick, unless, Spurs make it easy and go Bailey. That's what makes our pick so hard. So, and Ace is so interesting because he's also not only in this next tier that we have, but he's so polarizing. And there's so much love and hate discussion around him. He has true believers who are ready to pray to him at night. And he has haters who are cursing him. He's not 6'10". He's almost 6'8" without shoes. Probably with shoes, 6'9", 6'9.5. But he makes up for it because he had 7-foot wingspan. He's tall enough, extremely long, can shoot. Bad shot selection, bad passer, questionable handles. hot and cold on defense, but when he looks hot, he looks really good. I think he maybe just tries to rely on his athleticism. Like a lot of these guys do. Usually they're like stud defenders and then bad defenders and then hot and cold defenders. Oddly, he's not a good free throw shooter. That I found really strange because his stroke and his mid-range game is pretty good. What I think is the weirdest part about Ace, Rutgers had a terrible season considering they had 2 of the top 5 prospects. Horrible, right? But if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't even think Harper was on Rutgers. Bailey gets all the credit for them being a disappointment this year. No one ever blames Harper for that. Nobody. Every single time it's, well, Rutgers, I'm getting real Ben Simmons vibes from Ace Bailey and Rutgers. Not their point guard, not the floor general, not the guy who like runs the team, the wing scorer. You're going to give all the bad, not only the wing scorer, usually that would go to the higher prospect. Because, if you're looking at the 2 prospects, everyone's got Harper ranked. So what? Bailey's the Pippen, Bailey's the Robin. You're going to blame the Robin for the lack of success on your team? No, dude. If the person dies at the end of the movie, Batman's the one getting the blame in the headlines. No one's blaming Robin. But it's weird that, like, he gets all the blame for everything. You rarely see Harper getting any blame. I think that's odd to me. You never see it. Anyway, he does have bust potential because of all those negatives that he has to get a lot better at. He has a really high ceiling, though. And that's why he has that love and that hate. I am worried about a true one-on-one scorer coming to a team full of a lot of one-on-one scorers. I wish he was a little more team-oriented. But you know what, though? Maybe that will be really good for him to develop certain things and to realize that, like, I can't just be this, give me the ball and let me work. Because you know what? We have a lot of guys who can do that. And they have a resume that's, more pages than years you have in this life. Okay. So that's going to have to be developed. The good thing is that till he gets the handles right and the playmaking right, he does have a lot of length and he's got a really good stroke. His off-ball shooting is not as good as his on-ball shooting. Shocker. But that he can help. He's going to be in the corners a lot. I think in his initial year until he gets his feet under him, I know the comps go all over the map. I think he'll look more like Rashard Lewis for us with that Dwight Howard team. That's what we're going to want him to be. We want to show him film to begin, but until you get your handles right and your playmaking right and your eyes open, you play defense and you're Rashard Lewis on offense. That's what you are for this team.
Quite frankly, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Fine. Yeah. 6'7". You can block. You can switch on defense. He's fast laterally. He was faster in that sprint than Harper was. So he's probably comes onto our team and becomes the best athlete on our team, right? Who's a better athlete than him? It's not easy. That's close. Well, yeah, that's close though. But when you mix the athlete with the skill parts, he's on another level. So
yeah,
like he's something we don't have, which is cool, right? VJ, NBA ready body, can score off and on and off ball, which helps him come to our team. So he's not just to give me the ball and watch me. He can play off ball. He can fly. Talking about explosive. Really good defensive instincts. One of his high-end comps was Drew Holiday. Laterally quick, good first step. Standstill shooting is good. Shooting on the move, a little rough. But a better free throw shooter than Bailey, which is hilarious. I think he shot around 80% from free throw. Unfortunately for him, he does have a shorter frame. I think he measured it at 8'3". But he's just going to have to get better at shooting. That's mostly his thing, right? He has shown improvements over time, but the rest of that will just take more time. But I don't know.
And I feel like what you just described is something that we've kind of like
had before.
Yeah, it's always you got this guy because he's athletic, so much potential. He's got a good, nice shot. All you gotta do is put it all together, and he can be if he gets this great shot, we have this tremendous all around player. It's like I feel like we always have that.
But that's kind of Harper's knock.
Yeah, but
Harper shot like 31% or something.
But he's like a floor general facilitator type of guy. I mean, it's very different.
Sure, but I mean, yeah,
I will say Harper's top of the key 3 in that is combine yesterday.
looked good.
Couldn't hit anything else besides the top of the key 3.
Yeah, his corner was looked rough. It was
awful.
He was front rooming in the corner 3.
Yep.
He's bigger. That's going to help because his release is kind of low too. It's like out of here. So yeah, I mean we'll see. But it's funny, like everyone's completely ignoring Harper's negatives. I mean, shooting, we're going to have another guy who's a guard who can facilitate but can't shoot. Like, so I mean, but he's special getting to the rim. So is Fultz. So I mean, I'm not drawing Fultz comparisons, but what's the low side of like Harper's? What's everyone says Ace Bailey's not Durant, he's like MPJ and Rashard Lewis. Okay, what's Harper's version of that? Like Killian Hayes?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when I look at Harper,
a more athletic Killian Hayes.
Yeah, I would say like as a bare minimum, bare minimum, yeah. One of the he's kind of gives me Malcolm Brogdon vibes when watching him.
Brogdon was a good shooter.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think just his
not as like good getting to the lane. He's better getting to the lane.
Yeah,
his rich man's from the same group that gave us Drew Holiday, VJ was Dwayne Wade, rich man's.
Oof, yeah.
Because Wade had it was similar, a very questionable shot coming out of college too. It wasn't a consistent jumper. He had to develop that.
That's interesting. I see if between the two, I see Ace Bailey getting to that Durant range more than I see Harper getting to that Wade range. If I put money on one of the two getting to a certain tier, but
it's just the thing is, I mean, Durant's like a true like 6'9.5", like 6'10", right? Without shoes. I don't know. He's going to grow 2 inches. Even 1 would be fine with me.
Yeah. But before we get into the Harper, I want to talk about if Harper does fall to 3. But Ace versus VJ, I know you kind of laid it out there between the two guys.
Who would I go today?
Who'd you go today?
Ace.
Okay. Same.
It's close.
Yeah.
It's close. Let me do more rethinking and I'm diving and we'll see.
It's super early. It's a super early initial
debate.
Obviously, I'm curious what Eric's going to have to say when we get him to talk about this next week.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that.
But because he knows a lot of these kids.
Yeah.
So a few things on Ace before we move on to the Dylan Harper. If Dylan Harper falls to 3, Ace Bailey, only player top 10 in points per game, rebounds per game, blocks per game in the Big Ten last season. Big Ten, good basketball. And then you mentioned the Rashard Lewis MPJ thing. I keep seeing this so much from Sixers fans, like, oh, he's not Durant, he's MPJ. We would kill for MPJ. I mean, we have been talking about getting an MPJ type. I see people want to trade the whole freaking future for Cam Johnson. Guys, I mean, this is very similar to that. I mean, what are you talking about? Why would you trade? If people want to trade a number 3 pick and then other stuff to get Cam Johnson. Okay, how about don't do that? How about you draft this guy and develop him? How about you do that?
MPJ was a top pick without a back injury.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even close. He was a top 3 guaranteed pick without a back injury.
And so even with that injury, he's made himself a pretty good career.
Yeah. So, I mean, if MPJ is his not floor, but is like middle level, I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah. And then also, too, I know this is the one thing you mentioned. Harper's getting Ace gets all the flack for them having a bad season. I don't hold any stock in the guys didn't win in college. But I will say the last 2 picks the Sixers had in the top 3, both guys they drafted did not make the NCAA tournament. Markelle Fultz with Washington, and then Ben Simmons with LSU. So Ace Bailey could be the next in line for that statistic. Hopefully his career is a little bit better than the others. But yeah. Okay, so now moving on to the Dylan Harper. So the Spurs do draft Ace Bailey at number 2 because they do have De'Aaron Fox. They do have Castle. I mean, they do have guards already, and they traded a lot of assets to get Fox because I don't think they thought they were going to be in this situation. And you said Spurs fans are having that debate right now, Ace Bailey versus Harper. A lot of them think Harper fits their team, or Bailey fits their team better based on currently constructed. So Harper falls to 3. It sounds like what Nurse and Morey said. They're going to take the best player available at 3, even if it is a guard. How does Harper fit with us? Because I see a lot of things. Everyone wants Harper, but you have McCain, you have Grimes, you have Maxey, but then you throw in Harper in there. I know he's a big guard, but how does that fit with us? I know everyone says he's an NBA prospect, NBA player ready tomorrow, and that's a great thing. Getting all the talent in the world. How does Harper fit with the Sixers?
What's really also good is that he's big too. He's like 6'5.5". So that really helps. He's not. I think if he were a smaller guard, it'd be much harder for us to justify that selection. The fact that he has got size, then you could put him on, smaller wings, right? Eventually, when he gets, more of an NBA body, but he is NBA ready. So, but you can do that eventually, because he is 6'5", 6'6". I just think it's all about giving a team something they don't have. So we don't really have a facilitator. We don't really have a guy who can get everyone involved without like sacrificing their game, right? Harper's got that ability to get to the hoop whenever he wants to. So he can put that on ice or get to the hoop and distribute, right? Draw people to him when he gets to the lane. I know Maxey's gotten better at that, but that's something that's not Maxey's, like, that's not one of his, ace cards, right? Like that is Harper's ace card. So getting something we don't have, I think, is really important for our team. Not to say, Bailey, you also get that too, but I think with Harper, that's why you can justify it. And if he is, I'm not going to say Dwayne Wade because it's ridiculous, but near that, getting there, ascending there, you do that, right? Like that's like saying, hey, if I tell you you're going to have a guy who's like 2 pegs below Dwayne Wade in the future, you're not going to draft him because of Maxey, McCain, and Grimes. Like, no, of course I'm going to draft that. So I think that's what they mean. If they ultimately think he is the guy, then you don't hesitate drafting him because, this guy might fit better with a 35-year-old Paul George, right? I think you just do it. So, it's going to be interesting because Spurs, slightly similar situation. They just invested in Fox. Are they married to Castle, or do they say, hey, like we could just trade Castle and, for something else and then get Harper? They could do that. They could sell high on him. It was a weak rookie class. Like, our rookie was heading that stat and he was the 16th pick. So like, was it the kind of year you could say like, oh, we got the rookie of the year? Oh, great. It's going to be interesting to see because if they trade it, I think that whoever is trading in a 2, let's say the Bucks do it. Bucks are definitely going Harper. Like whoever trades in a 2 is going Harper. Spurs keeping it's the only way it could go the other way. If they truly believe. Because you got to understand, too, Spurs, although they're a very smart organization and they will usually side with the better player, they have a really good staff and they believe in development. So that ceiling that the truthers believe in for Ace Bailey, the Durant's, and the what's the other crazy ceiling I've seen from him, Paul George, if the Spurs believe that and they believe their coaching can get that out of him, that might be hard to pass on too, because if you're thinking of Paul George next to Wemby, next to De'Aaron Fox, that does mesh better than a Harper. Even if Harper does reach his own version of that Durant, which is Dwayne Wade, it still is a better mix to have the Paul George in that trio, right, than to have Wade with Fox. So, yeah, it's gonna be a fun draft schedule. It's pretty tight too. It's next month.
Yeah, I think a couple days after the finals are over.
It's like the draft, the NBA offseason's fast, dude, and moves so quick.
And I believe the offseason starts like 2 or 3 days after the draft. So it's interesting.
It's fast.
Yeah, it's weird how the NBA does the offseason after the draft, whereas the NFL they do the offseason and then draft. So you get to fill your needs and then see what else you can do with the draft. But yeah, with Harper, I love the fact he can play on or off ball as a guard, and we don't really have facilitator. Although Maxey was starting to grow in that role last year, but I will say if you do draft Harper, talk about and I think that what the Celtics have done over the last 2 years, maybe this year it's probably done, but the Drew Holiday, Derek White, having those two types of guards, I mean, I think that's pretty much set a pretty good precedent. You can do that, right? You can go and have those two types of guys. And you have a Harper Maxey kind of role there with playing the Derek White, Drew Holiday kind of thing. And I love the guard rotation too, because, we talk about, and that's another thing too, we talk about how we hadn't had guys like Ace Bailey. We also haven't had benches that could come in and dominate. So let's say we do have Harper and Maxey. You have Harper Maxey's your 1-2 in the starting lineup. And obviously I know a lot of people want McCain starting, but I feel like McCain's more suited to be a 6-man kind of guy. But nonetheless, we'll let training camp and the coaches decide that. But let's say Harper Maxey starting 1-2. Then off the bench, you have McCain and Grimes coming out there. I don't know if they want to start Grimes at 3, but you have McCain and Grimes coming off your bench as your 1-2, as your 6 and 7 guys. I mean, that's just it's never giving up scoring and just having enough of that. I think that's just amazing to have, especially given our injury histories that we have in the team, to have just nonstop scoring coming at you, starting lineup, and the night shift coming in there. So I love that guard rotation right there between those 4 guys. That'd be pretty nasty. Between Harper, Maxey, McCain, and Grimes, pretty nasty. That's one of the best guard rotations we've had in a long time in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that would be interesting. Do you think Grimes starts at 3 if they were to go with McCain and Harper, or Maxey and Harper, and then 1-2?
I mean, are we assuming they re-sign Oubre?
Yeah, assuming he opts in. Yeah,
Opts in. Oof. I think they'll try it.
Yeah,
they'll try it. You gotta see what works and what doesn't. I mean, we're going to have a new group of people this season again. Not totally new, but what's funny is that even though we're going to have a lot of the guys back from last season, a lot of the guys that played major minutes last season who are going to become more guys in our rotation didn't play with our best players.
I know. Yeah.
So another, get to know you period with our team yet again, even though they are the same team more or less.
Yeah.
We're not going to have a lot of changes this offseason.
No.
Pretty much going to be the same guys, get as many back as possible, and then draft the number 3 pick, and that's it. And 35, and that's it. So, but they still haven't played together that much.
Yeah, which is honestly a great thing, right? Just to kind of keep everybody in house, and they got a 1 year of learning with each other. It was like a freshman year last year for all these guys together. Now you have sophomore, you have 1 year of learning with each other, and now you get another year of growth together. But that's the one thing I will say with the Ace Bailey. I think I like the lineup more with the Ace Bailey, and I know people don't think Ace Bailey is going to start, but I do think he will start if we do draft him, because the lineup with that would be Maxey at 1, Grimes or McCain at 2, which I think it'll probably be Grimes at 2, Bailey at 3 or PG at 3, and then Bailey or PG at 4, and then Embiid at 5. I like that lineup more so than Harper, Maxey, Grimes, PG, Embiid. I like that first one way more than I like that.
We'll see how Bailey looks. I don't know if he will start, at least to start the season. You might just give the benefit of the doubt and the vet love to Oubre at 3. But overall, that's not to say he's not going to play a lot.
No, I know. I just, Oubre starting.
With the way we rest guys, he'll start and play a lot.
Yeah.
But yes, I think Grimes, if you were going to give the starting nod to whichever rookie we draft, Grimes, Bailey would be the more seamless fit on the starting 5. He jumps right in at 3.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's the type of guy we've been waiting for. All right. So our final topic here, trade back is the other option for this pick at number 3. A lot of Sixers fans think we should just trade back. Houston being the team, because a lot of people think Houston's going to be a part of the Giannis sweepstakes. Houston involves us in a 3-team trade. We trade our 3 pick. There's one rumor I saw. We trade our 3 pick to Houston. We get Houston's first round pick to get our number 3 pick, and they could throw us Terry Eason as well in that trade. That's just one of the many possible proposals I've seen online as far as a mock trade if Houston were to involve us in the Milwaukee Giannis sweepstakes. What do you make of a trade back, and what do you make of a potential move like that? We move to number 9 or number 10 and get Terry Eason, and they get our 3rd pick. What do you think about that?
It's enticing. I've seen a few of those. There's the Terry Eason. Also, Jabari Smith was the other guy that was rumored to be that deal. Who was like the Ace Bailey 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, and he was like 21, 22. He's like he's the age of some of the guys coming out right now. Yeah, I mean, if you were to forget about all the trade stuff, if someone was like, hey, I'm looking at what the Fox Sports one just came out a couple hours ago. Knipple, 10. So if you were to say, who would you rather have, Ace Bailey or Knipple and Jabari Smith? It's not an easy one, man. That's a really 90% of people would say Knipple and Jabari Smith. That's guaranteeing he's be there. He's not guaranteed to be there, right? So it is tough. The other one was the Cam Johnson and then moved to 8. Knipple would have a higher chance of being there at 8, I think. But I'm more inclined to keep it. But if they like a few guys in that 5 to 10 range, and they like, I'm a big Easton fan. I like Jabari Smith. Cam's interesting because Cam will become with getting rid of some of those vets that we've had. That it sounds like Morey kind of regrets getting, and he wants to go with the young guys. That would be his consolidation and go. We got Cam. We also got the 8th pick. Probably Knipple. And you get rid of Gordon. You get rid of Drummond. You get rid of those kind of guys in that deal. I would assume opt in and trade to make that salary work. Probably Oubre will probably have to go in that deal.
Probably.
Bring in Johnson, bring in Knipple. So, you know me, I'm always open to talk about trading it, especially if you're still getting a top 10 pick. It's not like you're just trading away that pick. So I'm open-minded about those deals. They're not bad deals. Cam one's definitely a win now, but you also get the Knipple, and Knipple's he's a top 5 for some guys draft boards. So that's no slouch. Some people called him the most skilled player on that starting 5 last year. So, and you're getting Cam Johnson, a guy who people have wanted to fit seamlessly with our team as it is. And then the Houston one, you're still getting 10. And you're going to get a guy who was the Ace Bailey of his draft a couple of years ago, who, by the way, it's not like he's busted. He's just on a stacked squad. What did he average? 12 and 7 last year? I mean,
and he's actually a pretty good rebounder too, Jabari Smith. I think he's got more of the rebounding chops than Ace Bailey does as of right now.
I mean, if Ace Bailey came in and averaged 12 and 7, we'd be calling him the next guy at this point in this year. So, I mean, yeah, dude, his first 3 years in the NBA, he's averaged 13 and almost 8, and shooting 34% from 3. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a big Jabari Smith guy. I think he's got loads of potential. How old is he right now? He's 22. He just turned 22 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yesterday, actually. His birthday yesterday.
Oh, there you go.
So fresh 22, right? So,
right.
That'd be hard. It'd be hard to turn down. If you could
Yeah.
somehow get a little higher than 10 after getting that trade, but I don't know. It's really hard to move 1 or 2 picks. But yeah, I'm open-minded about that. We're open for business.
Yeah, I mean, those deals wouldn't. I mean, it depends how high they are on the Ace Baileys or the Harpers of the world, and where the VJ Edge comes. If they're high on those guys, then yeah, obviously they're not going to do those trades because they think those guys are.
If Harper's there, they're not doing that trade.
Yeah,
they're not doing. I would say they don't do that because
Yeah.
from everything I've heard, it's a slightly tiered down.
well, yeah, because they say Flag and Harper are day 2 right away. They're starting guys in the league. Those are the only 2 guys who are you say right away they're starting.
The other guys, you have to work with some of their rough edges out of them.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you say, okay, he's got rough edges. Is it that much? Is he that much better than Knipple plus a Jabari Smith or plus a Cam Johnson? Now we're talking that's tough. I can argue that, right? Will a team want to go all in? But you know what? They might one of those teams just might absolutely love, VJ or Ace and be like, we're going to just develop the hell out of him and trying to make him that high-end version of what everyone says he is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting off season, of course. But yeah, the number 3 pick makes things even more interesting in the 2025 off season for the 76ers. Guys, that will do it for us. We will be back here next week to discuss all this again in more depth about all the player-by-players that we could get at the number 3 spot and different scenarios with our guy, former 76ers point guard, Eric Snow. But Teja, that'll do it, buddy. I'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, pal.
All right. Take it easy, everybody.
Later.